I'm not saying that I called it, but I called it. That'll be more, though, for Hard Right, Hard Left later in the show. The Tampa Bay Rays are undermanned, underpaid, and realistically have no position being where they are, have no business being in this position. I don't have analogies for you. I don't have clever ways to bring it all in. We're just going to celebrate how good Tampa has been during this American League Division Series. First off, I said going into it, Tampa was going to be the one team that I think could give Houston a lot of problems. And, would you look at that, through 4 games, Tampa Bay is outscoring the Houston Astros, the 107-win juggernaut Houston Astros, 17-13. They have more home runs. They have more hits. Pretty much every offensive category, Tampa is beating Houston. Now, runners in scoring position, if you are a Rays fan, that's something to be concerned about. Because that needs to get better, because you cannot leave that amount of people on base when it comes to Game 5 and going against Garrett Cole. But the Tampa Bay Rays, you guys, Houston has Verlander and Cole and Greinke and arms in their bullpen, and then positionally they have Bregman, Correa, Springer, Brantley. They won 107 games. They're really, really good. They were the World Series champs 2 years ago. I came on here when the playoffs started and said, this might be a dynasty team. And the lowly $60 million payroll, Tampa Bay, $50 million payroll, I'm sorry, Tampa Bay Rays are pushing them to Game 5. The Tampa Bay Rays, who, let's see, their best pitcher is Charlie Morton, who the Astros didn't want to keep. And Blake Snell, who came in to close the game last night. Well, yes, he was the American League Cy Young Award winner last year, was mostly hurt all year. And then they had Tyler Glasnow, who was going to start Game 5 and starting to pitch really well in Game 1. And he was hurt for a good part of the season. I mean, the team used 59 players. 57, I'm sorry. 57 players and got 96 wins. The team cut $15 million in payroll from last year. Was already broke. Let's get broker. And they won 5 more games. They won 91 games last year. They got 90 plus wins in back-to-back years. And have a chance to go to the ALCS if they win in Game 5. I get it though. Must be the position players. The G-Man Choys of the world, the Willie Adameses of the world, the Matt Duffys of the world. I mean, their best hitter, their most consistent hitter all year, was Austin Meadows. And he really hasn't performed. Everybody's hitting home runs for Tampa, except him. And he's their home run hitter. Sometimes teams come along in sports and they're just fun and they're just good for the game. This is one of those teams. They're fun because you know they're undermanned. They're fun because the way they play, they still steal bases, they pitch well, they have a lot of energy out there, they play defense. If you saw them throw Kiermaier to Adames to Darno at home, Darno's another guy who was a Mets player who was with the Mets. The Mets are like, yeah, no, we don't need him anymore. The Mets! You have second-hand Mets players, second-hand Brewers players, guys who, Adames, who was supposed to be a really big prospect and then got to the majors and was like, but he's still making it work. Sometimes there is such a thing as doing it on hard mode, right? If you ever played video games or if you've ever done certain things, like there's a hard way to do it, there's the easy way to do it. And the Rays are the hard way to do it. The Astros, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Dodgers, they try to do it the easy, the Cubs to a degree, the easy way to do it. We can just spend $150 to $200 million on payroll and we'll figure it out. I mean, Bill Simmons, I brought it up last week. Bill Simmons was on here saying, hey, just give me like Mookie Betts and Devers and $175 million worth of payroll and we'll just figure something out. Really? That's 3 years worth of payroll for Tampa Bay. The Rays have no business being here. And yet here they are. Now, I do believe, going forward, this is a matchup thing. I don't think Tampa, if they win in Game 5, does as well against New York the next round. I think they'll be competitive, but that is a series I could much easier see them going down in 5 or going down in 6 convincingly. They struggled in New York pretty much all year. New York has a comparable bullpen. I know Tampa led the league in bullpen ERA. Led the majors in bullpen ERA, but New York's got a good pen. And New York just seemed to have their number all year. Against the Astros, the strikeouts, the ability to wait out some of their big guys, just the matchup is just better. Tampa versus Houston for Tampa than the matchup is for Tampa versus New York for Tampa. But man, we're going to Game 5. The 107 win, big payroll, 2 of the top 3 Cy Young, maybe the top 2 Cy Young Award vote getters. They got Zach Greinke at the deadline. Bregman, who might be the MVP. Correa, Altuve, Springer, Brantley. I mean, this is David versus Goliath. But David don't have a slingshot. David can't afford a slingshot. I mean, I just want to know. I would love to know what the biggest disparity in a team winning when it comes to payroll. I would love to know what is the biggest. We'll find this out. What is the biggest, smallest payroll to beat the largest payroll? Go Tampa, man. Just go Tampa. Segueing into the next part about Major League Baseball, and that's that Major League Baseball has a problem. Major League Baseball is going to have a really big problem going forward. They've had this problem already for a couple years, and we continue to just be what seems like maybe even at the early stages of it, and see no signs of it getting better. If you've ever listened to 90 Feet, Tony and I have discussed several times about baseball's inability to market its stars or market its game. October is sports month. We have baseball, we have basketball, we have NFL football. It's supposed to be the best month for sports, when it really should just be baseball month. Understand, it is the MLB post. Understand that. This is the playoff thing. It is the MLB post season right now. It is NFL early season, and it is still NBA pre-season. You know the games that don't count? The games that don't matter yet? And yet, there is more marketability, there is more attention, there is more viewers for NBA pre-season than there is for Major League Baseball post-season. And it's not that the product's not good. I mean, hell, if you look at it, we have Mike Trout, who might be one of the greatest players ever currently playing in the league. We have Christian Yelich, who is on an all-time, even though understandably he got hurt, was on an all-time 2-year run. We have home runs at an all-time high, or close to an all-time high. I know that early 2000s peak, but let's say an all-time natural high. You have, in the division series, 3 Game 5s. You have juggernauts in Houston, LA. You have the underdog story of Tampa. You have the great young core of Atlanta. You have the Cardinals and all their tradition, and yet we still, Major League Baseball still can't get its ratings up. They were happy. There was a dip for the wild card games. The wild card games were at one of its lowest peaks since its inception. And then they returned to normal, or kind of normal, for the division series, and they were like, we got it. We're back. We got back to just head above water. We're good. It's the playoffs. You should not be able to have 3 Game 5s, possible Cy Young winners going in multiple of these games, a team as young and fun as Atlanta, the tradition of St. Louis, the juggernaut that is Houston and LA, the underdog story of Tampa, and I feel like I'm the only guy talking about them. You can't go to ESPN, FS1, or other radio shows and find anybody talking about baseball. And it's the playoffs. Major League Baseball, we need to fix this. We need to fix this. I love baseball. I've been watching baseball since about 05, 06. Probably like a year less than I was watching football. And yes, there's things about baseball at a younger age. Maybe it is harder to consume for younger fans. But you got more than just younger fans, baseball. We got to figure out how do we market Mike Trout. Bryce Harper's probably the only guy who's really marketed well, and he does that by himself. There's Mike Trout. Machado, the last year and a half, he's been in LA and San Diego. And I've stressed so many times on this podcast about how hard it is to be a sports star in California. We have Six Flags, we have the beach, we got movies, we really just don't care if the sports team sucks. We gotta market him. I mean, you gotta market like these Tampa Bay Rays, the Yankees, Aaron Judge. There is so many things Major League Baseball has going for it. And it's excited for the ratings to just be back to normal. Okay. Maybe I'm just ranting for no reason. Baseball, you got a problem.